Alright, boys, we're back. So, let's recap the trade from last night. Now, this was a semi-stressful trade. Now, if we're going to look back at the price action, you're probably thinking, well, how was that stressful, bro? It went straight down. Well, it was stressful for a couple of reasons, and we'll get into them. So, first of all, let's see why we even shorted Audio in the first place. So, let's go to the higher time frame. Obviously, Audio is looking like one of the strongest coins on the market. That's for damn sure. At the time it was pretty much at local highs. And it was kind of trying to break out of this previous daily resistance that it's had for a while. As you can see, it kind of had a SFP at the top here and rejected on the daily close, etc. But we did get in before that anyway. So if we go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin, we had this really choppy range over the weekend, which is basically all of this here. And then obviously we started off the Sunday night into Monday morning with a big sell-off down to the 99k level. Actually, whoa, wait, we went to 97s. Wow, okay. I did not notice that we thumped that hard. But either way, let's take a look at Audio. So I was at work for a few hours whilst this move was happening. So on these first 3 candles or so, I was actually at work. So if we go ahead and put these charts side by side, Audio, so yeah, delete that quickly. Let's put Audio side by Bitcoin, put it on the hourly for both charts. As we can see on the move down right here, these first few candles on Bitcoin had most of the markets, especially the alt market, dumping and breaking below their ranges. However, Audio is holding pretty strong. Now, I was taking a look at Bitcoin. I was thinking, I don't think Bitcoin's done dumping here. So at this time, when I was looking at the chart, let's go to the 15 minutes chart here. We were still above this range on Audio. And we entered on this 15-minute candle here. So as you can see over on Bitcoin, at this point in time, Audio was holding really strong. Most alts had already broken the ranges. Audio had not. Now, I looked at Bitcoin at this point here. So let's go ahead and come over to the Bitcoin chart. I looked at Bitcoin at this point here, started to see it fall pretty aggressively, and I had a look at the liquidity over to the left side of the chart, and all I could see was this level, which was pretty much already taken, and then these next levels that were really far down. So they were over 2% down, right? And Audio, one of the strongest coins on the market, was holding really strong at the time of Bitcoin falling, which just said to me that a lot of longs are going to be opened here on Audio, people thinking that it's going to bounce and blah, blah. That's usually what tends to happen. And then it kind of plays a bit of a catch up. Now, obviously by the chart, you can see that happens. Now, I wouldn't usually short the strongest coin on the market. However, in this case, I saw that Bitcoin was nowhere near any sort of levels of liquidity. It was super aggressively falling to the downside on the lower time frames. Volume was getting pretty crazy, as you can see down here. So I was thinking that this is probably going to now be hunting for liquidity or have some sort of big drop, which is what I was basically banking on, right? Which is what happened. So at this level, at this level up here, I ended up entering short on Audio. Now, I didn't just enter short on Audio just purely for that fact. I'm not a psychopath. Well, I am, but not for that reason. So there were a couple of levels on Audio. This was one of them. And then this level here on the 15-minute time frame was the other one. So I entered in a little bit prematurely on purpose because Bitcoin just looked like it wanted to continue down. So I ended up entering on this 5-minute candle close, right? So this was a really aggressive entry, but it was more so to do with this kind of tiny range on the 5-minute. It was kind of breaking down, and then it was more so for the 15-minute candle to hopefully continue to the downside as well and close below this box here, which by the skin of its teeth it did manage to get, but it also closed below this trend line, which was also kind of more than enough for me as well. And also the last time that we came down on Audio here, look, this was one of the biggest reasons actually. Let me just mute my phone quickly because I'm getting spammed. Yeah, so another one of the big reasons was when we came down here from this push down, Audio didn't actually take these lows, so it still had untapped lows. So I just felt like it had a lot of liquidity left that it could kind of use as basically a push to the downside, right? So we also had the 15-minute RSI touch on the underside. So I was hoping that it could obviously reject, and Bitcoin obviously being the main factor for the trade can help it out. Now, another one of the reasons I entered Audio was because everything else had already kind of dropped too much. So obviously that's not really the greatest reasons to have in the world. Especially if you're shorting one of the stronger coins in the market, but I've kind of seen this quite a lot of times in the past, so where the strongest coin in the market ends up playing catch up because Bitcoin just doesn't allow it to actually move, so in the upwards direction, sorry. So yeah, we ended up entering. Within 30 minutes, we were already pretty far. We were already down a couple percent, and this is where, as I mentioned at the start of the video, this was a tough hold, man. Not a tough hold, it wasn't actually a tough hold, but it was a stressful trade. Now, when I'm trading the evals, I'm actually more emotional on the eval account than I am on the live account. I've got my stop loss break even after about 30 minutes in this trade. I've got nothing to lose in this trade, but I was still stressed because I just want to pass the eval account quick enough so I can obviously get onto the funded account and start making some money that I can actually cash to the bank, right? So yeah, this position size is about 18.4k. Now it should have been 20k. I just misclicked the position size and did 9.6 and then left it because by the time I realized it was already in profit quite a bit, so I just kind of left it. Now that'll be a bit of an annoying thing later on. So we started the account on $10,070 at the start of this trade. So we only needed 930, which came out to about it actually came out to about 5% due to obviously not having a 20k position size. But what ended up happening was we did start to push to the downside pretty nicely. We had a 3.2% drop in the first hour, and then we had our first scare, right? So we had this nice capitulation wick, which instantly got bought up. Now, this was acting really strong against Bitcoin, as expected, right? I'm shorting the strongest coin on the market. Bitcoin kept falling, and LDO was just kind of holding pretty nicely, etc. But our first scare came in the form of this 4-hourly candle. Where are we? This 4-hour candle here, the 4-hour candle low, is the level that I was first looking for. Now, as you can see, as soon as we took that low, instantly a big 2.6% retracement back to the upside. Now, it was a little bit sketchy. It was a little bit annoying. It was like, oh, why have I round tripped this one? This is going to be quite sad, etc. Blah, 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 blah. But my new rule for these sort of trades is I have to wait for the 15-minute close before making a decision. And I tell you now, when I say that rule saved me maybe 3 times in this trade, it was for real a huge save. So we let it run, and then we managed to push back down to the 4-hourly low, which is where we start to find that level of support as well. As you can see on the 5-minute here, if we zoom in a little bit, you can start seeing this level kind of holding. Now, we then get another capitulation wick, as you can see, another 1.6% move to the downside at the start of the hour, and then we instantly retrace back up when we were only 0.5% away from passing the account this time. And again, it was a pretty tilting thing, but I waited for the 15-minute close. Now, I said to myself that this 15-minute close is definitely not bullish enough for me to want to close in profit here. As you can see, it's just kind of retraced the previous candle. It's not really engulfed it. It's left a wick on the top. I didn't think this was enough to really close the position here, especially because I looked at Bitcoin and I saw that it still had some levels to take down below and stuff like this. So get the trade open. Again, next 15-minute candle was trying its hardest to tease me and stress me out. As you can see, it was just constantly pushing up and just trying its best to get back above this 210 area and start pushing back towards stop loss, which was break even at the time. And then this is where the biggest annoyance came. We had an extra capitulation wick. We were starting to create some divergences over on Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure it was just on the lower time frames that was, and maybe we weren't. I think the divergences came in later. But either way, what ended up happening, as you can see by the wick, we literally came 0.1%. We needed $20 on the account, and it was a $19,000 position. So we needed like 0.1% in order to pass the account. And we literally slammed it down 1.3%. And as soon as we were literally the skin of my teeth away from passing, we instantly shot up, literally 2 minutes after this, 2% back to the upside. And then eventually we went back up 3%. So you round trip 3% of this trade. And this is where it was really tilting. Like, this is where my emotion, my actual emotion in terms of like when I was watching the trade was just showing. I wasn't making any decisions based on my emotion. I'm just, being very emotional as you would be after coming 0.1% away from passing the account and then almost round tripping the whole thing. So, or not the whole thing, but you can see what I mean. So yeah, at this point I was like, this 15-minute candle closed like this, wasn't super bullish, and then this 15-minute candle started down, pushed green, looked super bullish, and then towards the end of the candle ended up closing back below this level and rejecting on the 5-minute, which was really nice, which kind of calmed my nerves down a little bit, because it was, again, you can imagine this being such a stressful hold. Now, after all of this movement, we finally passed the account, so we are funded again, which is great. Obviously, hopefully our next trade is something as good as this one, and we can just make some actual money. Now, the only thing about this one that does suck is I was saying when I was in a call with my friend, I was like, this looks really good to continue down. As much as it was stressful holding at the time, I would never have closed this on the live account either, just because of how the price action was and how Bitcoin was looking, and I would have more than likely looked for the lows down here or the lows down here on the live account. So this would have been an absolute banger of a trade. I probably would have sold half for profits up here just for peace of mind. But yeah, in general, it was a really nice trade. Just kind of reading the price action of Bitcoin well enough and finding a setup that looks like it could give me what I needed, which all I needed was a 5% move to obviously make the $1,000 on the account to pass the eval stage. So we did hit the pass, and then the funniest part is we got super close to our target like 2 or 3 times, and as soon as our target was actually hit, that's when it just stopped being an asshole, as you can see. So we hit our target right here, and then as you can see, none of these candles even showed the slightest buying pressure, I guess maybe down here you can say, but that was literally just a retest of this level before it rejected even further. Like, so yeah, it was just like trolling me whilst I was in the trade for the longest time, and then as soon as I was out of the trade, it was like, yeah, we'll continue down now. But yeah, so we are funded again. That's it for this video. I'd say this is a pretty good trade. Again, it was just a super basic one, realistically. I kind of recognized that Bitcoin was looking super weak, had no liquidity anywhere near it that it could take, so it was more than likely going to fall a lot further. Audio was showing a lot of strength, which usually you would think, oh, that's long. But me, seeing that Bitcoin probably looks like it wants to go further down, usually if a coin is holding up really strong in that period of time, and Bitcoin wants to pull it further, it usually plays a little bit of catch up because of all the longs and the positions that are opening, hoping for like some sort of a aggressive bounce and stuff like that. Which is, you know, they're right to think that, but I just didn't think that Bitcoin was going to allow it to with the way it was looking. So yeah, that's it for the trade last night. Passed the account again to start the week off, which is really nice. So literally a Sunday night short. Passed the account ready for the week to hopefully hit some dubs and get some nice cash outs again. So there is actually a giveaway again on Breakout today. So anyone that's cashed out any money can have their cash out matched up to $500 and 5 winners every week. So it's really cool. So hopefully we can get a win on that one. We've got 2 entries in it because we've cashed out obviously twice this week. So fingers crossed for that. That'll be a nice little surprise. But yeah, it's usually Monday night. So let's see what happens. But yeah, that's it for the video, boys. Peace out.